Have you ever planted in October thinking you'd squeeze in one last harvest only to find limp frost-burned leaves staring back at you? You're not alone. Thousands of gardeners unknowingly set their crops up for failure in the fall, not because they don't care, but because they don't know what to watch for. This video reveals the top 7 October planting mistakes and gives you a quick checklist with simple fixes you can start tonight. Some slip by unnoticed, including one mistake that kills seedlings overnight without warning. Don't let your effort go to waste. Comment below if you've ever planted in October and lost crops, then let's see if timing was your first misstep. Planting too late after the first cold snap might feel like you're squeezing in bonus growing time, but in reality, it often sets your garden back before it starts. An early frost can wipe out tender crops, and even cold hardy ones slow dramatically once nights drop and daylight hours shorten. What looks like a harmless delay can mean your vegetables never reach maturity before the season shuts down. Take cool season greens like spinach or lettuce. If you sow them too late, they may germinate but grow so slowly that they never reach full size before the real cold sets in. The same is true for carrots or parsley. Without enough daylight and warmth, they stall out. The simple way to judge if you're still on schedule is this. Count backwards from your average first frost date, using the crop's days to maturity plus a small buffer. If that window is already gone, choose faster maturing greens or protect young plants with row covers to buy extra time. The easiest step you can take right now is to check your average frost date using an online calculator, compare it to your crop's maturity time, and adjust accordingly. Once your planting is timed correctly, the next challenge is how the cooler weather changes what your soil needs. If you keep watering in October like it's midsummer, you may be setting your plants back without noticing. Cooler weather slows evaporation, so moisture lingers far longer in the soil. That means your usual routine can quickly cross the line into overwatering, leaving roots in soggy conditions that cause rot, fungus, and stalled growth. If your soil stays damp for days, cut back immediately. Overwatering in cool weather is one of the fastest ways to lose a harvest. An easy check is to press your index finger 1 to 2 inches into the soil. If it feels muddy and sticks to your finger, skip watering. Instead of frequent light watering, aim for deeper but less frequent sessions, so roots have moisture without suffocating. Always check the soil before adding more, especially in fall when plants need less than you expect. On frosty nights, watering in the late afternoon can actually help. Moist soil holds warmth overnight and protects roots. Just make sure leaves aren't left wet going into a cold evening, since damp foliage can trigger fungal problems. Once watering is balanced, the next key step is preparing what's under your plants. Healthy soil structure and nutrients matter just as much as moisture control when cooler weather sets in. Did you rush to get plants into the ground without mixing in compost or covering the soil? It seems like a small step to skip, but treating soil as if it will handle itself often leads to weaker growth. By fall, your garden beds have already been drained by a full season of vegetables pulling nutrients from the ground. If nothing goes back in, the soil enters winter spent, and your crops start off at a disadvantage. Cooler soil slows microbial activity, which means fewer nutrients are released just when plants need support. Adding organic matter now gives microbes the time they need over winter to break materials down, leaving your soil richer and more fertile come spring. The fix is simple and fast. Spread 1 to 2 inches of compost over your beds, then cover it with 3 to 6 inches of straw or shredded leaves. That combination conserves moisture, keeps the soil temperature more stable, and feeds the underground life that powers your garden. If you only have 5 minutes, focus on the bed you want the best harvest from next spring. Just scatter a thin layer of compost or leaves as a start. But even the best soil preparation won't help if what you place on top is packed too close together. When October beds are crowded, the problem isn't just lack of space, it's how plants respond. Crowded plants trap moisture and reduce airflow, increasing mildew and fungal risk during cool, damp fall nights. What looks like efficient use of limited room often ends up weakening growth and spreading disease across the bed. Leafy crops like lettuce, kale, or carrots need breathing room for roots and leaves alike. Without it, plants stretch tall and thin as they compete for light, creating shade that slows neighbors down. Cold nights make things worse since wet leaves stay damp until morning, turning overcrowded beds into an ideal environment for fungal spores. Thin plants also emerge unevenly when packed too close, with smaller seedlings getting choked out before they have a chance to mature. The solution is simple, but requires action now. Thin seedlings to the spacing printed on their seed packets. If you can't find the packet, use these quick guides. Space lettuce, 6-8 inches apart, and give kale 12 to 18 inches. Thinning gives each plant better light and airflow so they dry overnight and don't become disease hosts. It may feel harsh to pull seedlings, but fewer, stronger plants always produce more than a crowded bed. Even with that spacing fixed, there's another hidden mistake that quietly cuts your harvest short: planting the wrong type of crops for the season. Do you ever tuck a few tomato or pepper plants into the soil in October, hoping for just one last round before winter? It feels tempting, but it's usually a poor bet unless you're prepared to protect them inside a heated structure. These crops are designed for warm, sunny conditions, and October simply doesn't provide that outdoors. Instead, your time and space are better spent on crops that actually thrive in the cooler months, like kale, beets, or radishes. Summer vegetables need more than just days on the calendar. They depend on extended warmth and long hours of light to set flowers and ripen fruit. Once fall days shorten and nights dip into the 40s, that cycle grinds to a halt. Flowers fail to pollinate, fruit refuses to color, and the first frost nearly always finishes the plants entirely. No matter how healthy your seedlings look, the season is stacked against them. If you've already got summer crops on hand, there's still a way forward. Instead of planting them out in the cold bed, shift containers to the warmest, sunniest corner you have, against a south-facing wall, or even under grow lights indoors. That gives them some chance to ripen, without wasting space where cool season crops could actually succeed. Of course, success in October isn't just about which crops you choose. Where you place them within your own yard can mean the difference between survival and frost damage. What many gardeners overlook is how different parts of the same yard can behave like separate worlds. Ignoring these local microclimates is a quiet mistake that can decide whether your plants thrive in October or fail. Two patches just a few feet apart might deliver completely opposite results when the temperature drops. Cold air naturally pools into dips and hollows, making low-lying areas frost pockets where damage strikes first. Shady corners that never warm in the morning can hold a chill all day, leaving plants stressed and vulnerable. By contrast, a bed beside a stone wall or paved surface that soaks up daytime heat can stay several degrees warmer at night, often enough to keep crops safe. You don't have to guess where these spots are. On a clear, calm night, check low areas and shaded corners. Those are the likeliest frost pockets. Place a thermometer, even a simple phone sensor, in a few different spots and compare the lows the next morning. You'll see the difference right away. Here are 2 rules to keep in mind. Use south or west-facing walls, fences, or stone to trap warmth for tender crops, and never plant sensitive seedlings in hollows or near open paving that cools quickly. Save those pockets for hardier greens. If you're still unsure, prioritize raised beds or spots near heat-retaining surfaces for your most vulnerable plantings. Even with the best placement though, there's one more step that makes the real difference: how you handle nights when frost actually arrives. One of the easiest ways to lose your fall garden in a single night is by failing to protect young plants from a freeze. Even hardy greens can collapse when temperatures dip below freezing, and seedlings are the most vulnerable of all. A calm, clear night is often the riskiest, and if they're left uncovered, tender crops can be wiped out before morning. The good news is you don't need complicated gear to prevent this. Use lightweight row covers or breathable garden fabric, applied before sunset and secured at the soil line, making sure it doesn't rest directly on foliage. For an extra layer, drape insulating fabric over hoops to form a tunnel, then remove it mid-morning once sunlight returns. Protect isolated plants with hot caps made from clear 2-liter bottles with the bottoms cut out, but remember to vent them during the day. Water soil lightly in the late afternoon before frost. The extra moisture stores heat that's released overnight. Avoid using thin plastic sheeting directly on foliage. It doesn't insulate and can burn plant tissue when pressed against leaves. Instead, think of it as creating an air gap that traps warmth without suffocating plants. When frost is forecast, keep a simple routine. Before sunset, check vulnerable beds, cover them so edges reach the soil, weigh them down, and move containers to sheltered spots. Doing this consistently means you're not leaving the survival of your fall harvest up to chance. October gardening comes down to spotting the mistakes before they cost you weeks of effort. Each small adjustment adds up to stronger, longer-lasting crops through the colder nights ahead. Keep this checklist in mind. Timing, check your frost dates. Watering, test soil before you add water. Amendments, work in 1-2 inches of compost. Spacing, thin seedlings to packet guidelines. Crop choice, skip heat-loving fruits. Microclimate, test for low cold spots. Freeze protection, row covers or cold frames by sunset. Click the link in the description to download the one-page checklist and share your October frost story in the comments. Do the simple things tonight, and you could save weeks of harvest.